Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Wright. I want to welcome you to the webinar. I am a member of the Executive Committee of Potomac Tea Party, and I'm your host for tonight's webinar. Potomac Tea Party is a tea party based in Northern Virginia. We have members across the country. Our mission is to promote Tea Party core values to the nation: limited government under the Constitution, free markets, and fiscal responsibility. This webinar is brought to you by DeSantis Airlines, bringing the border to you. Just kidding. We have Claire Lopez on the call. She works with the Defend the Border team that is presenting here tonight. So welcome, Claire. And now I'm going to introduce both of our speakers. Tom Trento is Director of the United West. That is an organization that exposes anti-American, anti-Israel activity, in particular the coalition of Marxists and Muslim jihadists joining together to destroy America. The Defend the Border project uses Tom Homan's book, Defend the Border and Save Lives, to create, develop, and produce TV shows, video exposés, and they're working on a 90-minute movie. And Chris Burgard produced an award-winning documentary in 2007 called Border, which screened twice for Congress, and that helped stop the 2007 amnesty legislation and won a lot of awards. He worked for Herman Cain when Herman Cain was a presidential candidate. Chris Burgard was also a member of Breitbart Media for 4 years, where his videos received over 300 million views. His most recent release, his most recent documentary is called Capital Punishment: Everything They Told You Is a Lie, and it tells the true story of January 6th. So with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to Tom, and Tom, take it away. Let me get my camera off here, and you'll be all set.
All right, thank you very, very much, Chris. Have been doing amazing work, and we look forward to working more closely with you, Chris Wright, in the next 2 years. It's a 2-year program. Hi, everybody. Tom Trento, as Chris Wright said. And the evening tonight is essentially a classroom. We view this as a classroom of elite individuals who have, these are elective courses. These aren't required courses. You chose to be here. You've demonstrated historically, 2009, a Tea Party psychology mentality. And we're very excited about this initial presentation. Bottom line, border, 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 border. We're going to speak about the border, and we're going to use our website as a de facto PowerPoint to give you an overview on what Defend the Border Tom Homan team is doing. And our end game, one of the objectives, is to have you view our website as the go-to place to get border information and to get involved in an activist attitude over the next 2 years. This is a 2-year program. I'm going to give you a quick overview, and then Chris is going to tell you a little bit about himself, a little bit about the media component. Essentially, 1 year ago next week, I moderated an event that Tom Homan was at, and I heard a story. We were editing his piece to show. Fox wanted some edits done to it. He spoke live to a group of about 200 people. And I just saw that this guy's story is amazing, and it needed to be told. And he told it in his book. One of the educational objectives of this evening is to go to our website on the store and buy Tom Homan's book through Amazon, through however you can get it. Critical reading material. So we approached Tom and said, we got an idea. And a year later, we have a team of about 20 people. You'll meet some of them this evening, and we'll show you some pictures of some of them, what they do. And we simply said, Tom, you're the lead guy. You've been doing this for 35 years. You've seen it all, 6 different presidents, award from Obama, award from Trump. You rose from a beat cop, a guy on the street, all the way to the top of immigration's custom enforcement. That's amazing. You have a story to tell. He's a humble warrior. And but he agreed, though hesitantly. Okay, I'll let you tell my story. And we brought Chris Burgard on, who knows how to tell stories through visual media. So over the next 2 years, in 2022, we produced a pilot. Chris will tell you about that. That's one of a series of TV shows. In 2023, we're going to produce a 90-minute, $2 million docudrama about the book and Tom's life. And the idea is to use these media as educational devices vis-a-vis the movie 2000 Mules to mobilize Americans, particularly in 2024, to vote for elected officials who will secure the border. And Brenda, I saw your question in the chat. How do we remove the illegal people that are here? We'll get into that a little later. A lot of it can be done, but more and more that comes in, it makes it more and more difficult. So it's a 2-year campaign, and we want to recruit individuals to help us. We'll tell you about that. 2-year campaign. Chris is heading up the media component of it. We also have a grassroots educational program that will roll out in 2024 across the nation. By way of background, I started the United West in 2006-7, right at the end of six, and to defend the borders of Florida. It was called the Florida Security Council against Islamic Jihad. One thing led to another, and we're here now trying to defend our own border in the southern part of the United States. I lead tours to Israel, where we study border security, and they do a pretty damn good job of that, with 5 nations wanting to kill them. So we're going next May to try to get some of their expertise, with Tom over there with us, integrated into a by the people effort to secure the border, because this federal government is the antithesis to border sovereignty and security. So, Chris Burgard, who are you, and what are we doing with our media?
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having us here. Who am I? I'm just a guy with a camera that God's put me in some pretty interesting places. I was making my living in Hollywood. I'm a kid from the Midwest. Came from a law enforcement family. Dad was a vet, and I was blessed to have a nice career in Hollywood. And when I went and made a movie about the border back in 2005, released in 2007, that's how I found out how the world really works. I made a movie that just showed the truth about the border and the inhumanity of the border, and how people on both sides of the border of all skin colors were being treated horribly and sometimes tortured and killed. And that got me blacklisted in Hollywood. It's that led me to being in the middle of Honduras when they attempted a color revolution down there, making a movie down there. And on January 6th, I was called to be in D.C., and we made what is now the most censored movie in America. If you haven't heard of the movie, that means the censors are doing a great job. Like you said, it's called Capital Punishment. And I can honestly tell you, from being inside a color revolution outside of the country and being one inside the country, everything they're telling you about January 6th is absolutely a lie. This is the Reichstag all over. And now, getting to do this project, I didn't know I'd be back on the border, but I'm pretty blessed to be back on the border after 17 years of being on and off the border. When Tom Trento came to me with this project, I was pretty dumbfounded, because I didn't think people, we've been talking about the border for 17 years. It's hard to get people to really wake up about it. And then he introduced me to Tom. And I got to tell you, Tom Homan is just a heck of a man. He's a warrior that served this country for 35 years. He looks like a beast, and he's got the heart of a lion and a teddy bear all at the same time. So what are we doing with Defend the Border? Why is it different than anything else that's been going on before? Well, because instead of just making a couple of viral videos or doing a movie that screens for both houses of the Congress, we want to start a movement of awareness and a movement of change by bringing the border to every home in America. The first pilot that we're doing is a 42-minute, would be an hour-long TV program where we bring the border to America. And for this first episode, we're just basically in the state of Texas. But what you're going to see in Texas is exactly what Tom Homan's put out in his book. When you defend the border, you save lives. When you don't defend the border, people die. And in this first episode, you're going to see a lot of dead people. And not just down the border. I'm talking 73, 110 miles into the interior of the United States of America. This is stuff that they don't show you on the news. I've carried too many dead bodies out of the bush. I can't tell you. It's a smell that stays with you. And it's something that too many of my friends have grown accustomed to over the decades, living with us on the border. You'll see in this first episode, we picked up 2 dead bodies in one day in one county. And then it was relieving my friend Mike Vickers' ranch. Get a call a day and a half later, a woman died on his ranch 50 feet from his front door. And this is happening all the time in America, and people don't even understand it. They don't know it. The other thing that you're going to see in this first episode is that people think of the open border, and we've been programmed to think of this only as an immigration crisis. The national security crisis that is happening on the border and that we're documenting should scare the heck out of all America. Someone comes into this country and does a terrorist act. They don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. They don't care if you're black, white, red, yellow, whatever. They just want you dead. And as you'll see right now, we're seeing a serious uptick of people from 161 different countries, 22 of which sponsor terrorism. Many are communist countries. And as you've seen lately in the news, which we started filming 3 months ago, Venezuela is emptying their prisons and sending some really bad folks over here on purpose. I can tell you from firsthand experience this summer, what concerns me is not just the uptick in the number of military-age males that we're seeing and interrogating on the border, but actual soldiers, males with military training, males that know how to use weapons. And at first, they don't like to admit that they're in the military. You press them harder, then it comes out, and they'll say, "Oh, I was in the military, but I'm an engineer now." These fellows are coming over in numbers that are simply unprecedented. You will know after this first pilot episode, you'll see that the United States of America no longer has operational control of our southern border. I don't care what Kamala Harris says. I don't care what data the administration puts out. You can talk to me. You can talk to any 3-letter guys on the border. You can talk to any Border Patrol agent. You can talk to any rancher. We no longer have control of the border. And this has been done on purpose. I could take you to one ranch in Arizona, my buddy Jim's ranch. He's got 10 miles of border on his ranch. He was getting traffic coming through there on a routine basis. Armed cartels bringing in mule trains. Mule trains are what we call guys when they have caravans of men packing drugs in their backpacks, called mule trains. And they're all coming in carrying AK-47s, camouflage, wearing booties so they don't leave prints, coming through nightly through his ranch, creating conditions that Jim and his wife, they're in their 80s, don't feel safe turning the lights on in the ranch home at night. During the day, they don't stand in front of open windows because of the threats to their life. This traffic all got shut down when President Trump came in and started to build the wall on their ranch. It shut it down. They were safe, down to zero. Within 48 hours of Joe Biden going, they stopped all construction. Within 48 hours, the paramilitaries and the drug trains were pouring back through their ranch, and they still are to this day. Anyway, I tend to ramble. As my wife says, is not a good quality, so I'm going to turn this back over to Tom Trento.
No, that was important. You have some videos for us to look at, some short ones this evening. Mary can start queuing those up. And Mary, if you can put the website up, our objective this evening is not necessarily, but it's hard to address the border issues without going into the factual information of child sex slaves, human trafficking, the fentanyl. You're hearing a lot about fentanyl, all the devastating elements of the invasion. But we're assuming, we have a presupposition that this group of students taking an elective have a basic understanding of what's going on the border. Our overriding objective today is to provide a resource for you based in our website, based in our organization. When Chris references the pilot, we will be premiering it at Mar-a-Lago on November 1st at a very fancy dancy event. And then it's going to be placed on some TV network somewhere. You'll hear about it. We'll show it to you. We can't show it to you tonight. It's not finished. It's too long. But our goal is to show you the website, how it functions, so you can utilize it. And then Mary will queue up a couple of Chris's videos and he can put them in context. They can take a look at that. And then we'll give you a couple of ways in which you can get involved. And then we'll turn it over for Q&A. We're going to do all of that in the next 10 or 15 minutes. But there's our website, Defend the Border. It's taken from Tom's book, Defend the Border and Save Lives. And the whole idea of this approach is that the humanity is not in an open, friggin', stupid, crazy border. Come on. The humanity is in a sovereign country with a legitimate process of legal immigration, as we've proven for 250 years. What the hell happened with 250 years of success? Now we flip it around and make it insane. Well, this website, and we want you to go here. We're going to highlight it. There's videos that are full of information. If you go to the top of the page where Mary is, both of those have very critically important information for the context of the program. And hit the about, Mary. If you could hit about the amazing technology of computers. This page right here gives you a very quick overview of the Tom Homan project, the problem, the solution, and our production schedule. So we'd like you tonight, tomorrow, whenever, to go to these references we're pointing out and read this material. To read our whole website takes about 20 minutes. To read this material in light of this presentation. Now hit the team, Mary, please. Tom is the head of our team because of his work. On the next level, myself, Chris, Susie Gold, she was going to be on this call. I don't see her. And Michelle Terrace started Jexit, Jews exiting the Democrat Party. The four of us, along with Mary, are managing about 20 other people. Everybody's a volunteer. And there's Mary there. You can click on each of these individuals to see what they do. You may recognize Sabine Coulter. There's Mary. You may recognize Durbin Coulter, who is an angel mom. An angel mom is a mother whose child was killed by an illegal immigrant an illegal alien in the United States. So the website has the intellectual information, it has the contextual information, and then it has the vitas, a quick bio of the team. You'll see our ideas are solid and our team is solid, and we're at the right place at the right time with the right person in the lead, Tom Homan. This is an amazing project. If you can go to events, we'll show you a couple of events where you can get involved. Every good activist says, I want to do something, I want to get involved. Well, go above that first, Mary, if you can go on top of that.
Yep. Hold on. Right there?
No, well, I'll do that one. That's the Mar-a-Lago. You can read about the Mar-a-Lago premiere on November 1st. We may have one or two more tickets. I think we're sold out. But go to the other events we have going on.
Well, we've got the Israel trip.
We have a trip to Israel. You can click on that to study border security in Israel. And then the 9/11 event. You want to put that one up?
Oh, that's over here. Okay.
There you go. On October 14th and 15th, we're working with General Flynn, the America Project, TAP, on October 14th and 15th in Long Island at a very unique venue. We have a 2-day conference. Chris will be there. I'll be there. General Flynn will be there. Tom will be there. Tom Homan. And it's called Border 911. Patrick Byrne will be there. Joe Flynn. If you activists can make it, get to Long Island on Saturday the 15th. If you can't, right on that page, right on our website there, you can sign up for the live stream and watch an all-day border event with experts. So tonight, we're trying to give you the context for a place where you can go to start your border research and your border activism, and we have everything laid out for you on it. Now, Chris has been filming in Washington, D.C. with Tom, and then twice on the border in Texas with Tom, and has put together some very interesting, very short little pieces. Chris, why don't you lay the context for your videos and show everybody. Let's take all of them to the border with us for the next few moments.
Mary, why don't you go ahead and roll that Brooks County video? It kind of speaks for itself. And this is 75 miles north of the border.
Texas hot day. We've been out with the Sheriff's Department and Border Patrol tracking a group of aliens. Came across some skeletal remains and per policy called the sheriffs, and we came out there with them and found various parts of the body, but of course the body's been spread all over the place by wildlife. Border Patrol is finding dead bodies constantly, especially in this county. The sheriff of this county says he has over 160 dead bodies so far. So much for the Biden policies being humane. Yeah, that's the lower jaw right there.
You always say a prayer, sir, when you find these bodies?
Yes. It's a miserable death. This is the middle of death. This guy died by himself.
Well,
In the middle of nowhere.
From here, they go in the truck, JP, morgue, and the medical examiners, and just a routine for Brooks.
Been out with these guys for 5 hours. This is our second body already. Open borders kill people. You defend the border, you save lives.
Try the next one.
Our friend Esther, that came in here from Venezuela, we've met a lot of her countrymen today. They want to get out of there. And she came over with her buddy Alfonso from Cuba. We've also come across people from Nicaragua, a lot from Salvador, a lot from Honduras, and soldiers. They came over the river there, through the brush, made it over the razor wire, and here's where they left us their IDs. The United States southern border. It's not just for crossing Mexicans anymore. My daughter and I are here on the border, river. Nice. We've got our IDs. I got my passport, got my ID. Got your ID?
Got mine.
Yeah, only they're not ours. They're folks from Venezuela and Cuba and Nicaragua. Yeah, and I can tell you that the first border video is about Brooks County, like we talked about. The other two, it's interesting when you see what the American soil really looks like along the Rio Grande. It's covered with razor wire, rolls and rolls of it, but the razor wire doesn't keep illegal aliens out anymore. Basically, it's just being used for them to hang up their clothes and for the bad guys to ditch their IDs and passports. And there's just thousands of them down. And in just a few minutes, you can pick up 6 to 10 of them, and that's what we do in the first video. And why do people drop their IDs as they're coming to the U.S.? Because if they were in prison or a criminal or in the military in a foreign country, when they get into this country, they can start all over and be whoever they want. And that's what we see. And I would just suggest you all go to the website after this call and click on the videos. But if you can take the 2 minutes, it'll take you to the border and you can see and feel what's hurting a lot of people right now. And it's not something you're going to see on CNN or.
We want you to go to the website and look at them in their essence, in their true essence, the videos that we produced, some of the ones that we found critically important in terms to provide information on the absolute insanity on the border. Before we give you some ways in which you could help us respond, Chris Burgard, Chris B, Chris W, Chris B, why don't you just take a minute or two and share your personal experiences with Tom for those 3 shoots. You've spent a lot of time with him in a lot of crazy places. Give us a feel for you, a professional producer, director, filmmaker, Christian, border guy with Tom Homan.
You broke up on me, Tom, there. I think you're asking me to say what my experience was working with Tom Homan. Well, my dad always told me if you really want to get to know someone, either go in business with them or take a road trip with them. And doing both with Tom, I can tell you he's an exemplary man. 3.5 decades he served this country. He's a bulldog when it comes up to standing to the left. You may have seen Ocasio-Cortez and other Congress people try to bully him in congressional hearings, and he just doesn't take it. But what you don't expect is to see a man whose life was profoundly changed when he held a dead 5-year-old Mexican child in his hand that died horribly in the back of a semi-tractor trailer. Or when you see him to go to pick up a piece of a person from a burned pasture, and at first there's the tentative sympathy in his hands as he reaches down, and you can just see the light click, and he goes into professionalism, picks up that piece of jawbone, picks up that skull, puts it in the bag, and it's just business as usual. And he's an intensely loyal, strong, passionate, and patriotic man, and I'm just honored to be working alongside of him. And I hope that someday all of you, everybody on this call, gets a chance to meet him. Maybe we could take some questions after. That might be something we could do since we can't show the videos.
Yeah, I got a couple of items, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. Again, the purpose of this evening, the overriding objective from our perspective, is to implore each of you who are seasoned activists, and we know many of you, heard of many of you, to recognize the importance of the border issue strategically for the 24 election, and then recognize the importance of our program articulated by the website over the next 2 years. Our goal is to become the go-to place for border information and activism. We're activists at heart. And the reason why we landed on this, all of us after the election, Chris went and made a movie about it, were pissed, angry, and knew that we're going to be going in a very, very dark direction if the Biden administration takes over. Well, we know that to be true. And notwithstanding inflation, all of these issues which are important, if the Democrats get seriously defeated in the midterms in 40 days, you will see a scorched earth policy on the southern border to let as many illegal people in from as many countries as possible. Indeed, a definitional from the OED definition of an invasion for the constructed, directed, and planned destabilization of a Jeffersonian republic. That's the idea of the Marxists involved in doing this. They need to destabilize the Tea Party. The Tea Party per se, as it has stabilized the United States based upon Judeo-Christian principles. So if they lose electorally, they are going to try to win demographically, as articulated in Stephen Phillips's amazing book, Brown is the New White, where there's a shift in the demographic elements and then the destruction of the conservative movement in the United States. You're going to see that. Well, if there is a scorched earth policy, then you will see more and more and more good Americans saying, whoa, wait a minute, we got to do something. We want to harness that energy and that angst at that point to follow the rule of law. We do not want to be unlawful. We do not want destruction. We do not want civil war, any of that stuff. We want to follow the rule of law and win electorally and gain control politically to establish proper principles. This issue will be on the cutting edge of that for the next 2 years. That's why we're putting all this talent and treasure and time and energy into it. And there's a variety of ways you can get involved. We're made up, our organization, of people who believe in God and people who don't believe in God, Jews, Christians. As long as you believe in the United States Constitution and the importance of a conservative philosophy, then come on, man, fight with us. We need you. 3 specific ways. We are expanding a team of social media influencers, people helping us. We're going to be producing a lot of social media. We need individuals to say, send me what you got. I'll send it to 10 of my friends. I'll send it to 20 people. I'll send it to 2 people. We're looking for a social media team, individuals to join us. We're also looking to recruit video defenders, individuals that will take a camera and go somewhere, go man on the street, go to the border, go anywhere, ask questions, get good video, get it to us. We have our own studios, our own production capability, and we'll integrate this as pieces of media to influence the general public to move to defend the border and save lives. So if you want to use a video camera and get on the street, we want you. Or if you want to help us, the third way you can help, if you want to help us with media contacts, the pilot will be done pretty soon. We want to do interviews on it. We'll show you how to reach out to various media and get interviews. We have Chris, myself, Claire, we have several others on our team that have experience in media, and we're looking to expand all of that over the next month or 2. So there's a variety of ways you can get involved. Our platform is there for you to read more about us, and the videos are there for it to hit you right in the heart and the head. That's our presentation essentially for this evening. And as Chris alluded to, we can open it up for any questions. Chris W.
Directed to Tom. And Tom, you were going to speak to this. Any chance of getting the people who have been let into the country illegally, any chance of getting them out?
Well, yeah, if you talk to Tom Homan, he says he can secure the border, he and somebody like Trump, within 30 days. And one of the ways was to put a lot of pressure on Mexico. And once the border is secured, you shut the faucet off. Then you have to free up the federal agents of ICE to do their work. You've got to, and I think DeSantis and Abbott, through their flights, Air DeSantis you referred to, showed the reductio ad absurdum of this sanctuary city concept. You've got to we don't even have to break the lockhold of sanctuary cities. We have to allow federal agencies to round up minimally all the people that clearly don't belong here, military age men with no identification, with records and gangs, all of that. Or if there's no identification, they can't stay here. They have to leave. We have a body of law that will take people out that don't belong here. There's a judicial element to it, obviously. That's why they're trying to clog the courts. But there's also expedited ways you can get criminals out very, very quickly. So the more they put in of illegals, they know the more difficult it is. But there are ways in which you could reduce the number, but you got to shut the faucet off first.
Okay, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, so I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, if I can,
Go ahead, Chris.
if I can add to what Tom just said, you don't even, everything Tom said is absolutely true, but we don't need to go out and round up 48 million people. If we just follow the laws that are already on the books, if we just cut off all the special incentives, free money, and free benefits that we're giving illegal aliens, they'll go home on their own. Most of these people, there's been studies on it for years, will self-deport. And the left knows that, and that's why they push so hard that they're giving more benefits to illegal aliens than they are to U.S. veterans.
Mary, can governors use state constitutions to defend and protect their citizens?
Well, that's what you're going to see happen in Texas. That's where I live, and there's a lot of talk down here. We don't want to leave the United States of America. We just want the United States of America to be more like Texas. And in Texas, we respect each other and we follow the laws. So the governor down here has an opportunity coming up in the very near future to see how strong our 10th Amendment rights really are, because the government has broken their contract with the state of Texas. Remember, Texas was a country before we were a state in the Union. And we just recently, this last June, we had a whole bunch of Texas sheriffs and county judges stand up and declare an invasion in Texas. And if the federal government doesn't step up and do a 180, we're going to have some real problems, because they've broken their contract with the people of Texas. They're supposed to protect us from foreign invasion. We pay taxes. We're good citizens. Well, they've broken that contract. So where that's going to lead, I don't know. But I can tell you Governor Abbott does have several powerful tools in front of him that he could use to protect the state of Texas.
Anything to add, Tom? Go ahead, Tom.
Chris W. This is a fascinating moment in jurisprudence, because Claire is writing about in the chat. You should reference it, folks. Article 1, Chapter 10, Section 10. the whole concept of an invasion from the U.S. Constitution and the Texas Constitution has something similar. Tom Homan's in the middle of that. He is involved with various think tanks, Heritage, um, arguing for the state's rights to declare an invasion when the federal government fails. So a body of um, judicial conscripts, judicial information is being comprised now that will eventually go into the courts to try to establish the right of the states to declare an invasion, protect it. But the whole thing is nonsensical because the federal government's supposed to do that, thus the election of 2024 to change the administration. But Abbott the other day declared that the cartels are terrorist organizations. I think it was the Sinaloa cartel. You know, it's got a lot of form, not a lot of function right now. The federal government needs to do that, but it's moving in the right direction, and people are getting fed up. So we're seeing serious people start looking at law and serious people looking at the failures of the Biden administration to remove them from a political perspective. It's moving in the right direction. If anyone would like an experience of a lifetime, next June 2023, come with us to Israel. We'll have our film team with Tom taping. We'll have subject matter experts. Claire will be with us. John Guandolo will be with us. And we are going to go, we are with the individuals in Israel who are the architects for the various border systems. These are a variety of systems from metal obstacles to electronic technology to underground technology. But their view is if you try to come over the border from another country, you're going to get shot. You're not going to be allowed to come into our country. It's that simple. And to think that the Hamas or Hezbollah can run rat lines and send people over is inconceivable from an Israeli perspective. That's what the cartels are doing. They're running rat lines to send evil people into. Now they throw in a nice little lady and her baby, all that. Our heart breaks. I'm a Christian. My heart breaks for that. But I'm a serious enough Christian to understand you need the rule of law. My grandparents came through Ellis Island and they did it the right way, as many of your grandparents did. So come with us to Israel and you'll come back going, oh my God. And that's just in time. That's the middle of 23. Then we got all of 23 and 24 to rock and roll and change this administration.
Sure. If Republicans take the House, what are the chances that they would impeach Joe Biden for failing to faithfully execute the nation's immigration laws?
That's a great question. I think that's going to show you the true character. I think that's going to show you the true character of the Republican Party. They have all the evidence and the facts and the data on their side to do exactly that. Will they have the political will to do it? I don't know. I mean, everybody in America saw that the election had irregularities and things that needed to be investigated. I don't know how many attorneys did the Democrats put out, a whole army of them. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of them ready to go. How much did the Republican Party put out? Zero. They didn't hire one single lawyer. That all came up from the grassroots, local and state and other enterprises. So if they don't, then they're going to be showing you who they are. And what I hope they don't do is I hope they don't do a bunch of political theater where they bring all the hoopla and the shows and they broadcast congressional hearings like they did at Benghazi, and then they do absolutely nothing. Because any Border Patrol agent will tell you they've been betrayed down on the border. Any rancher will tell you that Mayorkas and Biden have absolutely put their lives in danger. They've betrayed the country. This is treasonous policies that they are doing. And I know that's a big word, but I've been doing this for 17 years, and this was done on purpose.
And Tom Homan will be the first person to tell you this isn't an accident. They came into power and they unsecured the border. They came into power and they put Americans at risk. They came into power and people started dying because of these policies. The Republicans better darn well get in there and do their job and do exactly what you just asked, Chris.
Well, let me, I know we're down to the wire. Whenever I'm undecided on something, Chris, both Chris's, I like to get a bunch of smart people that I trust in a room and say, convince me, I need help. I need help. I would look at the impeachment. Everything Chris laid out makes all the sense in the world from a moral perspective. From a political perspective, and we're political beings, strategically, could we advance our agenda with an impeachment trial going on that we can stretch out for a year and really limit the White House in doing anything? I would be interested in the strategic value of obstructing activity in the White House. That may persuade me to move in that direction. Conversely, if we're successful, do we want that lady as the president of the United States and who she's going to pick for vice president? She's going to pick Gavin Newsom probably to be the vice president, and he'll be in a position to run for president, and he'll be a glory boy. I mean, I'm undecided. I don't know. I'd want to be in a room for about 2 days and think this thing through.
Right. We're just about out of time. Not really enough time for another question. So let's give Chris Burgard the final word before we close the formal agenda.
Knowledge is power. And right now, we all are engaged in the greatest information war this planet has ever seen. So we all need to fight, not by picking up weapons, but by arming ourselves with information. They've tried to deaden America to know our history. And if you don't know your history, you're destined to repeat it, and that's happening right now. So I hope everybody on this call can go to the site, can join the movement in whatever way you can contribute to wake up America and to educate to people what's really, really going on. And that's how we win. And pray, because I believe God has this, and in the end, God wins.
Okay, let's go ahead and have Tom and Chris close us out, and then we'll call it an evening.
Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, just we had a good time with all of you. It's always a pleasure and wonderful to be with like-minded people. And Coughlin is a friend of many of us. What he said about the left always doing what the left does. We have enough conservatives, enough evangelicals who need to be mobilized, and then that middle America. We don't even have to worry about going to talk to nonsensical leftists. We can still talk to our own people, mobilize more of them, and then mobilize significant elements. This is what we do every year in the state of Florida to win conservative politicians. We have a whole formula down here. We don't even need to go after the left. Let them do crazy things. But it's good being with everyone. If you want to join with us, we need the help, and we're here to help you. We're servant activists. We're here to do whatever we can to help you.
Chris B., last word.
Surely we must all hang together, or we will hang separately. I want to thank you for letting us be on this call. God bless all of you. And like I said, it feels dark, but I think we're winning this.
All right, we're ending on a hopeful note. That's it for tonight, folks. Thanks everybody for being here.